Hey Steve, it's Thursday. Well, actually it's Wednesday, but you're going to be watching this on Thursday, so happy Thanksgiving. I'm currently in Oregon visiting my parents for the holiday, and I'm in one of their side rooms right now doing this, so that's why you get this background that you don't recognize. 3 questions. Number 1, what are the ways that I am using the law to justify myself? Like most people, I tend to believe that I'm a pretty good person. I don't do the obviously horrible things like murder or theft, but I also feel like I generally don't even do some of those more harmless bad things. I don't like to talk about other people behind their backs. I don't usually covet what other people have. Generally speaking, I feel like I avoid these relational issues. And since I'm not obviously mean to other people, I think I generally feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at this whole life thing. But I think as a result, I've essentially made a hierarchy of sin. So even though I've justified myself as a nice person according to the law, I still seem unable to account for the reality that I can't save myself from death. I still turn to food, to self-reliance, all hoping that these things will somehow offer my life meaning and value. And so while I use the law to justify myself in one area, I am guilty according to the law in several other areas. Self-reliance, after all, is in fact idolatry. So while I may be nice on my own merit, my niceness is still unto death because it comes from myself and has yet to be transformed by God's love. Number 2, how am I turning down Christ's invitation to follow him? I'm sure there's a lot of ways that I am turning down following him, but I think one of the most obvious ways is that I'm usually really resistant to go to Vespers. And I could go. I could take my family and make it a regular weekly thing. But honestly, sometimes the thought of driving all the way out to my church and dealing with the kids and talking to people, it just sounds so exhausting. Also, Vespers is super inconvenient. Let's be real, Saturday night, that's perfect time to hang out or chill. And so I think this tends to be a situation where I choose convenience over Christ, wasting time over worship, where I choose myself over God. I like to be comfortable, and sometimes this just gets in the way of following Jesus, of making him the priority in my life. I also struggle even to maintain a regular, simple prayer rule. I tend to lean on other things to get my day started, and by the time I collapse into bed at night, I just want to go to sleep. I pray here and there all throughout the day, but the discipline of prayer, actually regularly and habitually showing up to spend time with the Lord, that's hard. It's not that I don't pray, it's more that I'm inconsistent. I tend to pray when I feel like praying, not because I have a habitual disposition of prayer. Number 3, what am I a prisoner to? What's keeping me from dedicating my life fully to God? I think there's a couple things, and one of them I think is my love for ease. The fact that I tend to be a slave to my desires rather than a servant of God. But I think another thing that keeps me from really dedicating my life to God is fear. And I think that fear is like, what if following God wholeheartedly isn't that great? What if I don't like it? What if I suck at it? What if I were to really put myself into following him and to find it unsatisfying? Because if I'm honest, the thought of really investing myself in something and finding out that it's not great, that freaks me out. So I think I tend to settle for just mediocrity in my spiritual life. And I think the fallout of that fear that it's meaningless is the questions of, why skip cheeseburgers on Wednesdays and Fridays? Why not sleep in on Sundays? Generally I have that fear under control, and it by no means ruins my life. But I do think there is this small part in my heart that fears that, that maybe following Christ wholeheartedly isn't going to be all that I hope that it is. And so I think that's why it sometimes becomes tempting to believe that value in life can be found through good meals or good stuff or comfortable living. It sometimes feels a little bit harder to live a life of self-denial and discipleship, believing that that is the way to true life. I really want to believe that. So please, pray for me. All right, Steve, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you on Monday.